regulatory framework for Agri warehousing sector. So let me introduce myself before I call eminent speakers and experts for the day. So I'm Dr. Ganesh. I'm a knowledge expert and global lead of Supply Chain Management Center of Competence of McKinsey and Company. I lead a 40-member team where especially working on advanced analytics, optimization, simulation in supply chain. And we work across many industries, and one of the industries as well, agriculture. So I did my doctorate from IIT Madras way back in 2004, and been with the industry for almost 13 years. And really happy to be here as session chairman for this session. And today we have 5 eminent speakers for the day. I'm happy to call them one by one to the dais. So let me call Mr. SK Moganty. He's an executive director in charge of Market Regulation Department of Commodity Derivatives in SEBI. He has done master's degree in international studies from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, and has done LLB and PG diploma in securities law from Mumbai University. Mr. Moganty is an officer from the Indian Revenue Service of 1991 batch, who has served in the income tax department in various capacities. Mr. Moganty was handling various important portfolios such as market policy, exchange administration, and legal affairs. He was also the nodal officer at FMC to facilitate the pre-merger arrangements with SEBI. Mr. Moganty, very happy to have you on the dais. Thanks a lot. Welcome. I'm happy to invite the second eminent speaker, Dr. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. The name actually is very awesome. He's a vice president with the government and transaction advisory services of Ernst & Young LLP. He has more than 10 years of experience across sector, including agriculture, health, education, and transportation policy and regulation, project structuring and financing, bid process management, and post-transaction support. What not? Very good. Some of the key projects advised in agriculture sector, including National Agriculture Market, Agri Biotech Parks, Logistics Park, International Transformation of Warehouse Development and Regulation Authority. He holds a fellow in management from IMA and BTech and MTech degree in civil engineering from IIT Madras. He holds a degree on LLB as well. Thanks a lot. And a question on insurance clearly says you have a law background. Thanks. Welcome. We have a third eminent expert, Mr. Jayaprakash. He is a Chief Operating Officer from Star Agri Warehousing and Collateral Management Limited. So he has recently joined Star Agri and responsible for managing the entire operations for collateral management, warehouse receipt financing, laboratory testing, fumigation, and private mandis. He's almost having more than 13 years of experience in agri-business. He has worked in various reputed organizations such as National Collateral Management Services, Reliance Spot Exchange, Reliance Commodities, and Dow AgroScience. He's also an agriculture graduate with a postgraduate diploma in agribusiness management from the National Institute of Agriculture Marketing. Very happy to have you, Jayaprakash. Thank you. We have Mr. Sarath Mulukutla, who is a Chief of Commercial Segment at NCDEX. Welcome. He leads both the agri and non-agri product teams that design and launch futures contract, and he also leads the logistics and contract teams of the exchange. Sarath has a BE Electronics and Communication from the BIT Misra and MBA Finance from Nirma and Fellowship in Risk Management from IFT New Delhi. So almost having more than 20 years of experience in the financial service industry and also as a risk management consultant. He also worked in various geography across Europe, Middle East, and Asia. Welcome, Sarath. Thanks a lot. We have the last but not the least, Mr. Sumesh Paras Rampuria. He is a CEO of Convergy Group. Welcome you, sir. He comes with almost 18 years of experience across consulting, financial services, consumer, commodity ecosystems, regulatory and manufacturing sectors. Prior joining to this firm, he is associated with Star Agri Warehousing and also acted as the Chief Business Officer of Business Development. And Mr. Sumesh completed his MBA with specialization in finance from Wellington Institute of Management and also graduation in commerce from Nasimonji Institute of Management Studies. He's also a visiting faculty to IIM and IIT and other management institutions. Very happy to have all these 5 eminent experts for the day. Thanks a lot. Thanks for making this happen. So today the topic, so I think we've started well, and I was also in the session 1 Q&A. So given the question and answer session was very awesome in the last session, we thought to spend more time on the Q&A. So our topic is regulatory framework for agri warehousing sector. So we are planning the session as below. So I'm actually going to give a background of Indian agri supply chain. Not sure how much is covered in the morning, but I'll probably talk about more statistics from McKinsey. McKinsey actually come with a lot of data, so I'm actually going to do that. After my 5 minutes of background to Indian agri supply chain, we have Dr. Satyam and Moganthi going to give a lead presentation. So we'll have 3 presentations close to 15-20 minutes. Then we'll have other 3 eminent speakers will share their viewpoint as well for 15 minutes. So we'll actually close to 30-35 minutes. We'll actually have the initial discussion. Then we'll have 20 minutes of panel discussion and then 15 minutes of Q&A. I know we are almost 40 minutes begin the schedule. Let us try and cope as much as possible. But in case if I could not able to cover the Q&A well, we can have it in the offline. So I think without wasting time, I'll get into my thoughts on the key trends in the Indian agri supply chain. So I'm actually going to talk about 5 key trends, which will be very interesting to know. Many of you know this, but I just want to bring with some statistics on the table, which would be very interesting to see. So let me start with the first trend. A significant shift on the consumption pattern, which is actually happening towards the high-value foods, right? What you see here is the left-hand side, the 3 things. One is the GDP. The GDP per capita have actually increased 3.5 times from 2000 to 2015. And second is actually on the population. 38% of the population will live in urban towns and cities in 2025, when comparing to 31% in 2010. The third is on the middle class. The Indian middle class is projected to grow 200 million strong in 2020, comparing 50 million in 2010. So that's a fact in the left-hand side. And the right-hand side, what you see is what we talk about the consumption. The India's consumption basket is expected to move, especially in the premium foods. What you see, the circle, which is your CAGR, and what you see the 2 different graphs for the different foods, which is milk and meat, fruits and vegetables, oils and others. What you see, especially fruits and vegetables, milk and meat, that is actually kind of going to grow well. It's the premium foods. So that is a kind of a trend. Given this trend, so there is an increasing stress on 3 things, right? Due to scarcity of agricultural resources along with the national demand. Let us actually see what are those. One is on the water. So what you see from this nice picture, 54% of the India faces almost high and extremely high water crisis. So this is going to be evident. So especially the Punjab and Haryana alone produce 50% of the national rice supply, right? And almost 80% of the wheat. So what you see here is going to be a super stress on the water. And the second is on the labor. This is also another worry situation, which is the percentage of agricultural workers to total workers. It's going to diminish from 59 to 25.7 in 2050. So that is a second worry situation. What you see in the right-hand side, which is especially on the demand, the total productivity factor, what you see there, right? So that is actually going to be a big gap. So the gap in food demand as well as the agri output. So almost like 59% of the total actually India demand can be met by maintaining the current TFT growth rate. So this is the kind of a scarcity of agri resource. So that's one of the key area which I want to maintain. That's a key trend. So which is really emphasizing four things. The need to adopt the less resource intensive practices, that's very important, and also take the right corrective measures, especially to improve the yield. So let us see what are those let us see actually what are the four things. One is on the significant growth in the certified seed consumption in the 5 years. So what you see here is increasing use of quality farm inputs like hybrid seeds and other quality fertilizer, so that you see the trend in the left-hand side. The other one is actually the technology. What you see in the top right-hand corner, the technology which is trend in use of your power sources, like ground digger and other example what I given, right? So you see the very good trend there in terms of moving from draught animal to the more technology-based solution. In the left-hand corner, the bottom corner, the scientific crop management practices to boost the yield and especially reduce the wastage, right? So that is another kind of a resource intensive practice. And we all talk about the next generation digital supply chain. That's where you see the bottom right corner, which is four elements, which is SkyMed, Digital Green, AgroStar. So the digital innovations are actually making farmers more sustainable and profitable. So this is the kind of a second trend. The third, quickly to cover, growing food processing industry is encouraging the backward linkages, right? Especially by the private players. The food processing is what you see in the first chart. It's almost rupees 5,500 billion industry. The future growth is expected to double from the 9th plan. So that's where the curve shows. And what you see, the three different solid example, the chain irrigation systems and coke. I have joined the hands through the project Unnati. That is actually one. And second is the McKinsey. So that is actually also persuaded farmers to use the sprinklers, cutting water and nitrogen used by a third. So that is actually another example, which is like an investment from the private sector. The third is actually the Pepsi. The PepsiCo works with almost 24,000 farmers across 9 states through the crop life cycle. So by providing the new varieties, technologies, and other farming practices. So this is basically by the private players. That's a third trend. The fourth trend, I have a two different phase. The title clearly says emergence of innovative delivery models. In an innovative delivery model, there are two things. One is on the increasing example of the farm producer company. That is one. You can see the different types of farm producing companies. One is a producer cooperative, another is producer company and public limited company. But the most preferred is producer company. Let me actually, that's a preferred model. Let me give actually a few examples on this producer company. A very good example which I came to know. One is this Bangar vegetable producer company from West Bengal. So almost like 1,750 marginal farmers, and the impact rated is really awesome, which you can see from the slide. And now other one is the India Organic FPC Kerala. So that is also almost like the impact is 15% for the farmer. The third is Nalavur FEO, right, Tamil Nadu. More than 400 small and marginal farmers. The interventionist promotes the horizontal linkage, aggregating the purchase of the seeds and other export market linkage. That also increase the farmer revenues drastically. This is one trend on the innovative delivery model. The other, this is actually the example of the farm producer company. The another trend is actually the financing model. I know there is a separate section tomorrow on the financing, but let me touch very quickly on a 20 seconds mode. The agri financing opportunity is really growing well, right? So that's what you see in the left-hand side. The crop loan is almost like accounting 70% of the market. So what you see, the loan outstanding, which between 15 to 20 is almost 16% deep increase. And you see different product-wise, what is the market size. And so that's remarkable. And there are few case studies which actually for the innovative financing model, HDFC, the combination of Pepsi and ICICI Bank, which is your Jan Dhan Yojana, and the third is the equipment financing. So these are the three different, at least, case studies which is evident where the financing model improved the access of credit to the farmers. So these are the four key trends. The last trend, which is the key topic for today's discussion, is the regulatory framework. So there is a push to reform the policy and regulatory framework affecting all participants across the value chain. So that is the point which I want to put across. Let me spend 1 minute on this. There are 4 subtopics in this: input, credit, market, and retailers, right? Let me actually touch upon the input. On the input point of view, two elements. One is the Krishi Vikas Yojana. So basically, focus on spreading known technology. Second is on nutrient-based subsidy. So these are the 2 things which is 2 critical trends on the input point of view. And what you see in the credit is basically the Fasal Bima Yojana, right? And also Jan Yojana. Basically, in both, actually, the National Crop Insurance Scheme, uniform premium almost like 2 or 1.5% for the Rabi crops, right? So that is the credit. And other is on the market. So this is very impressive. So this is another 5th trend. That is a key topic for today's discussion. And I'm really delighted to have a detailed discussion today from the eminent experts we are having in the dais already.